Welcome back to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? When a package is supposed to arrive and you're like checking the tracking constantly. Now, just imagine that package is a special gift from your company. It's meant to celebrate something big like Diwali. And you're a remote employee, maybe hundreds, even thousands of miles away from the main office. So Diwali comes and it goes. Your family celebrates, you open other presents, but your gift from work, nowhere. Days go by, maybe weeks. And when it finally lands on your doorstep, that whole festive feeling, it's just gone. Poof. That moment, that connection, it's missed. That's not hypothetical. That was a real experience for someone at a big IT firm last Diwali. And it's more than just, disappointing. It feels almost heartbreaking. It creates a sense of being disconnected, like you're an afterthought. And here's the really wild part, the paradox. Our sources tell us companies often spend nearly 100 hours planning these gifts, meticulously, poring over options, making like 20 different to-do lists, all with the best intentions, truly wanting to make their people feel valued. Yet, despite all this massive effort, the stats paint a pretty grim picture. Nearly 40% of businesses fail to deliver gifts on time. And get this, over half of employees end up feeling completely dissatisfied. So it's this huge gap, right, between this monumental effort and often, a pretty lackluster, sometimes even disappointing result. That's what we're diving into today. Our mission here is to unpack why corporate gifting goes wrong so often, even with those good intentions. And maybe more importantly, we're going to explore how modern smart solutions are starting to really transform this whole experience, especially for remote teams and clients who probably feel that distance and the sting of a late gift way more keenly.
That's absolutely spot on. The emotional side of a gift's timing and whether it feels relevant,
Yeah.
you just can't overstate it. We're not just talking about the physical item. It's the feeling it's supposed to convey,
Yeah.
the acknowledgement, the connection, that sense of being remembered, being valued. That phrase, missed special moment, is so key because it really hammers home that a gift isn't just a box ticked on a list. It's a gesture, a potentially powerful one. When it works, it builds loyalty, belonging. But when it fails, it can actually unintentionally chip away at that very feeling. It kind of sends this message, maybe not on purpose, but still, that the person isn't quite as important as they should be.
Okay, let's really get into this then. Companies spending nearly 100 hours juggling 20 to-do lists, and still almost half the gifts are late, loads of people are unhappy. What is actually happening behind the curtain? What makes this whole thing what our sources call the gifting gauntlet? What are these hidden traps?
Oh, it can be quite a mess, honestly. A lot of the time, the root cause is basically, really outdated traditional offline gifting processes. Just picture a large company, right? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands of employees. And they're scattered everywhere, different cities, states, maybe even countries. The sheer logistics involved in getting, packing, and then individually delivering gifts to every single person on time. It becomes this enormous, almost impossible task. Think truckloads of stuff, mountains of boxes. It's an administrative nightmare, truly. And a huge bottleneck, almost guaranteed, is the manual data management. Just think about it. Relying on someone typing in addresses, maybe gift choices, tracking orders by hand on spreadsheets. It doesn't just slow everything down to a crawl. It's like an open invitation for errors. You end up with these massive, clunky spreadsheets, endless email chains back and forth, and just constant frantic chasing. Then there's the vendor issue. You often have no real control over vendors, especially during crunch times like Diwali. Companies are basically at the mercy of their suppliers' schedules, their shipping partners. If just one vendor slips up or a delivery service gets swamped, boom, cascading delays. And it's totally out of the company's hands. They're just stuck.
Right, so it's not just picking the gift, it's this tangled web of logistics underneath. What about the planning itself? Is that part of the mess too?
Oh, absolutely. A huge contributor is often just poor planning and, frankly, poor communication. If the whole process kicks off too late, which happens a lot because it feels so complicated, you're immediately heading for a last-minute scramble, panic stations. Then you layer on those traditional methods, the endless email threads trying to figure out who wants what, frantic phone calls, checking on deliveries, actual paper trails. It just creates this massive confusion. It adds exponentially to that already crazy list of to-dos, making the whole thing way more complex, stressful, and likely to fail than it needs to be, like trying to run a marathon with your shoelaces tied together.
Wow. So it sounds like all these things, the huge volume, the manual data juggling, the vendor lottery, the last minute planning, it all just piles up, leading to what you called unnecessary complexity, cost overruns, and ultimately a lackluster experience. It's almost upside down, isn't it? Companies invest so much time and energy genuinely wanting to show appreciation. But the old system seems practically designed to create frustration instead of joy. It really does sound like a massive amount of effort for very little actual, well, happiness, like pushing a boulder uphill. Okay, so if this traditional way is, let's be honest, pretty broken, causing more stress than celebration, how are companies starting to, crack the code? How are they figuring out how to actually deliver joy at scale? This is where it starts to get really interesting, I think, the shift towards solutions.
Yes, exactly. This is where we're seeing a really important and frankly welcome shift in thinking. A lot of businesses are now looking towards specialized B2B gifting solutions, and the focus is different. It's about delivering experiences, not just stuff. The end goal is always the same, whether it's for employees, clients, partners. Making people feel valued, that hasn't changed. But how you get there, that's changing dramatically, moving way beyond just picking something generic off a catalog shelf. And this new approach is really well captured by companies like Mandala. They have this core belief, and I think it hits the nail on the head regarding the problems we just discussed. They say, gifting is a tradition, the process doesn't have to be. Right? The sentiment is timeless, the appreciation is crucial, but the how needs a serious update. It directly tackles all that friction, all those manual headaches. And this philosophy is embodied in their Celebration Smart Gifting portal. It's specifically designed to cut through that large-scale corporate gifting complexity.
Right. And you mentioned celebration is often used for Diwali by big companies, but the ideas behind it, the tech, it applies much more broadly, doesn't it? Like for any big gifting need holidays, maybe employee milestones, client thank yous. It's not just about making logistics faster. It sounds like it's about digitally transforming the whole gifting experience, turning that old headache into something smooth, maybe even enjoyable. That feels like a big leap. Okay, let's dive into the specifics then. How does this new wave of merch tech, and I like that term, merch tech specifically for merchandise and gifting, how does a platform like Mandala's Celebration Portal actually simplify things for everyone involved? The employees receiving the gift, the partners, the clients, whether they're in the office next door or working remotely halfway across the world. It sounds like it tackles the specific pain points we laid out.
It really does, point by point. One of the absolute biggest wins is achieving seamless logistics. The portal uses sophisticated automation. That dramatically cuts down the need for manual work and, crucially, pretty much eliminates those frustrating delays we talked about. So instead of HR teams drowning in boxes and bubble wrap, gifts are streamlined. They go directly to employees' doorsteps or wherever they happen to be. This hits the volume problem and the vendor control issue head on, imagine. No more storage nightmares in the office, no more frantic calls to different shipping companies. It's just handled. And another huge benefit, the efficient process itself. This kind of tech, through smart automation and design, literally cuts the HR and admin workload by around 50%. That's massive. It takes that incredibly complex, multi-step traditional process and boils it down to a really simple, almost elegant four-step flow. Step 1, the company shortlist products that fit their budget and their brand values. Step 2, the branded celebration portal gets created. Easy. Step 3, employees get a link, log in, and choose what they want from those curated options. Step 4, Mandala takes care of everything else, all the shipping, the tracking, the final delivery. That efficiency is incredible. It takes those potential 100+ hours of chasing, coordinating, managing vendors, fixing data errors, and condenses it down to just a few hours of setup. It's a night and day difference from the old manual slog.
Wow, okay. Cutting the internal workload in half, I mean, that alone is huge for those teams. But what about the person actually getting the gift, like our remote employee from the start? How does this change things for them?
And that brings us to what I think is the absolute core of it, empowered choice. This is the real game changer for the recipient experience. Employees get the hashtag power to choose their own gifts. They're not just getting a standard issue item. They pick from a selection that the company has curated. This directly tackles that dissatisfaction problem head on. Why? Because it guarantees the gift is actually personal and enjoyable to them. When someone picks something they genuinely want or need, they don't just appreciate it more. They're more likely to use it, talk about it positively, maybe even, as the source says, share it with friends and family. That amplifies the goodwill. It's fundamentally about giving control back to the person receiving the gift, making it truly meaningful to them. For that remote employee, it completely flips the script. Instead of feeling overlooked, they feel seen, respected, and actually included in the choice. And what's great is, even with all this tech and automation and choice, the system, like Celebration, still allows for a really personal touch. Gifts can still be customized and wrapped in personalized wrapping paper. And critically, there's the option to include a heartfelt message. Maybe from the CEO, maybe from their direct manager. This is so important for maintaining that meaningful experience, even for remote employees. It helps bridge the physical distance, ensuring they feel that genuine connection and appreciation, not just like a data point in a system. It adds back that warmth. And one last piece, which is super practical: transparent tracking. Both the HR teams and the employees themselves get access to real-time tracking information. That offers huge peace of mind. No more endless calls or emails asking, "Where's my gift?" No more HR teams scrambling to find out what went wrong. Just clear visibility for everyone throughout the process. It removes all that guesswork and anxiety, letting people just focus on the positive side, the celebration itself.
That's genuinely impressive. So it's a complete system overhaul. It improves the company's efficiency dramatically, sure, but it also fundamentally redesigns the recipient's experience. And you mentioned our sources say 20-plus organizations have already transformed their gifting processes using platforms like Celebration. They're delivering personalized gifts, hampers, whatever it is, without delays. So it's not just about being faster, is it? It's about making sure people genuinely feel part of the celebration no matter where they are physically. It means that remote employee we started with isn't left waiting and wondering. They're actively choosing something they'll love, getting it on time, and feeling properly included. What a difference.
So, yeah, what's the big picture here? We've kind of traced this journey, haven't we? From the all-too-common frustration of late, maybe irrelevant gifts that leave people feeling a bit meh, or even undervalued, to a new reality where corporate gifting can be timely, truly thoughtful, and remarkably effortless, actually. It really boils down to understanding that the intent behind the gift is vital, yes, but the process, the delivery mechanism, is just as critical for that intent to land properly. You can mean well, pour hours into it, but if the execution falls flat, the whole message gets lost. Or worse, twisted.
Exactly. The whole point of gifting is that connection, showing appreciation. And what we're seeing with this merch tech, this technology like Mandela's celebration portal, is that the process can finally support that connection. Instead of actively undermining it with logistical nightmares, missed deadlines, and that feeling of being forgotten, it simplifies everything for the company, yes, but more importantly, it ensures that employees, partners, clients, wherever they are, feel genuinely valued and included. Office, home, anywhere.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? When we talk about employee engagement, client loyalty, building those strong relationships, how much potential value, how much goodwill are companies accidentally leaving on the table when their well-intentioned gifting efforts end up causing disappointment? What does it really take today to make sure everyone feels genuinely included, truly celebrated, no matter their location, especially when the very gestures meant to build bridges can sometimes, unintentionally, create divides?
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Just imagine. Imagine a world where every single corporate gift arrives exactly when it should, where it's something the recipient actually chose and is excited about, where the act of giving genuinely reinforces how much that person means to the company. A world where gifting is purely about appreciation, free from all those logistical headaches and anxieties. That's the real promise, isn't it? The promise of truly smart, streamlined, tech-enabled gifting, like we've seen with Mandela's celebration. What a transformation that truly is.